Howdy, howdy, everyone. Good Tuesday evening to you. It's Weather for Weather Geeks time. Let's take a deep dive into our weather that's happened in the past, what's happening now, and what's going to happen in the future. A lot of people losing patience with the lack of snow lately, and I'll talk about that in a couple of moments. Just judging by my Facebook comments alone, a lot of people, more people want snow than don't want snow. If you just took a look at my Facebook comments, but again, we'll touch on that towards the end of the video. It's a big temperature drop today, that is for sure. It was in the lower and in some places middle 50s late last evening into the overnight, and then the slide began, and as promised today, temperatures just kept on sliding during the daylight hours today. And as of the 7 o'clock hour, it's 25 degrees colder than the same time last night. The number even more impressive in Columbus and in Cincinnati. This was a big time change. It was not accompanied by much precipitation today. A couple of flakes and flurries here and there, no big deal. Actually a pretty decent looking band of lake effect impacting the lakeshore east of Cleveland across Lake County and parts of Ashtabula County this evening. I can't rule out this trying to wiggle far enough south that maybe we get some coatings of snow, perhaps up towards Kinsman, Mesopotamia, heading over towards Greenville and Mercer County. But for the most part, this will not be a big impact for our viewing area. There's actually some winter weather advisories out for Lake and Ashtabula counties over towards Erie County, Chautauqua, Cattaraugus counties, and southwest New York. Also Erie County, New York, Wyoming County, New York. All those places with a west to southwest fetch do pretty well with lake effect. Boy, it's cold here, but it's a lot colder elsewhere, as you would expect. It's really nasty up in the upper Midwest, where the wind chill is 15 below in Minneapolis, 28 degrees below zero is the wind chill in Fargo. Our wind chills will never get that bad. They'll be in the teens and in some places single digits tomorrow morning, 8, 9, 10 degrees. Again, nothing unusual for the middle of December, but colder than it has been. And with the wind really getting frisky again midday and afternoon tomorrow, those wind chills aren't going to rise much. I mean, this is despite a fair amount of sunshine for at least 2/3 of the day tomorrow. Wind chills will stay in the teens. Now, I do think clouds will increase towards the end of the afternoon. Why is that? Well, we have one of those dashed black lines coming our way. We signify little disturbances in the atmosphere or troughs of low pressure with these dashed black lines on weather maps. It's a cold front, kinda, but not really. Just enough to bring us some clouds, I think, tomorrow afternoon. Probably no precipitation with that. We'll have an increase in high clouds on Thursday as high pressure slides to our east. A little bit of a southeasterly flow will help temperatures get back above freezing, and actually that warm-up will continue on Friday. Friday starts with some sun, but I think these clouds will roll in the afternoon, and some of these showers might try to sneak in towards evening. I suspect the daylight hours are dry on Friday, but showers increasingly likely by Friday evening and heading into the overnight. All right, let's talk about the snow or lack thereof. Here's a look at the snow forecast for the next 7 days, all the way through next Tuesday, on 3 of our major medium range models here. The European model, the purple line, kind of pink-purple here. This is the GFS in the red, and then the GFS Ensemble has the most through next Tuesday. And these lines start to trend up early next week, whether it's an inch or 2 or 3 or something like that. The reason they're trending up is we have the potential for a system to move across the U.S. next week, but as you would expect, a week ahead of time. A lot more questions than answers right now. Here's a look at the European model, the locations of low-pressure systems as we go into next week. By Monday evening on the European Ensemble here, if you look real carefully, there's little L's here. This is all the locations of low pressure on the various simulations that make up the European model. So some lows are down here, some lows are up here. Now, if you're hoping for snow, if you're rooting for snow, you want this more southerly track, because if this system tracks too far to the north, it's going to drag in the warm air, and it's going to rain and not snow. As we fast forward then to Tuesday morning, so a week from today in the morning hours. Actually, let me back that up here. Tuesday morning is what I want, right here. So the lows range from up near Toronto to down near Lexington and into West Virginia. That's, a reasonable spread on a 7-day forecast. That's pretty typical, but it'll have big implications. There'll be a storm somewhere tracking through the eastern U.S., whether it brings us snow, mixed precipitation, or just a chilly rain. We just don't know yet, but some precipitation probably is going to occur at some point Monday night into Tuesday of next week. It's just a matter of what kind. If it takes a favorable track, maybe we'll get some accumulating snow for the first time in a while. Again, that's about a week from today, so we'll have plenty to talk about over the next 7 days as we track the potential for that system. Now, beyond that, It looks pretty cold for a couple of days, middle of next week, but still looking fairly mild in the longer range, taking us into the final 5-6 days before Christmas. I would expect a lack of Arctic air on the playing field from the 19th and 20th through Christmas. Now, does that mean that it's going to be 80? No. Does that mean you're golfing in this? No. Does that mean it won't snow? No, I wouldn't say that either. Just because there's no Arctic air doesn't mean it can't snow. It just reduces the chances of accumulating impactful snow. And tomorrow evening on Weather for Weather Geeks, and maybe I'll do a blog post on my weather blog, ericwfmj.com. I'll take my first stab at the White Christmas forecast, our historical odds of having an inch of snow on the ground, and how that compares to what may be our odds this year of having an inch of snow on the ground, which is kind of our arbitrary threshold for a White Christmas. It's, you know, kind of common in the weather enterprise to define a White Christmas, especially up at this latitude, as having an inch or more of snow on the ground. Now, down in Charlotte and Raleigh and Nashville and places like that, if there's a little candy coating on windshields, that might be a White Christmas to them. But for us around here, we generally think of it as an inch or more on the ground. So again, look for that update tomorrow evening on the Christmas forecast, and of course an update on next week's snow potential as well. Thanks for watching. Have a great Tuesday night.